Norway and India have collaborated for the last 17 years on some really great innovation. Norway and India have a good collaboration on a number of levels. I think it's very interesting and important that India is chairing the G20. My visit to India has been really interesting and exciting. So I'm here representing the Norwegian government because Norway and India have collaborated for the last 17 years on some really great innovation in the area of maternal and newborn health. So the program is called Norway-India Partnership Initiative. It means that we've worked together to innovate and find new approaches in maternal and child health that will help, to improve maternal mortality and neonatal mortality. We've seen great improvements over these 17 years. We've seen the partnerships grow and the trust grow, and we've gotten to know each other. And we've seen also very specific interventions that have been developed together through this partnership that then the Indian Ministry of Health has been able to scale up. So the innovations in partnership, the scale up with the Indian Ministry of Health, and given the sheer size of India, we know that when these innovations are scaled up, they really make a difference.
Ma'am, how do you see the Norway-India cooperation at a broader level, and what cooperation do you seek more from India?
Norway and India have a good collaboration on a number of levels. So I mentioned the collaboration that we have in the field of health, in areas around maternal and newborn health. There are also other areas in the health sector where we are collaborating. But beyond that, we are partners in, for example, increasing the use of renewable energy. So we see great partnerships with the private sector. Norwegian companies also investing in India in solar, in wind, and other renewable energy areas.
Ma'am, India is also currently the chair of G20 Presidency. How do you look at it, and what do you seek? What do you expect from India as a chair?
I think it's very interesting and important that India is chairing the G20. Norway is collaborating quite closely with the G20 group on a number of questions. Right now, we are in discussions around pandemic preparedness. So how can we be better prepared when the next pandemic comes around? And the G20 countries, with India in the lead, are very important partners in this. Norway is involved in these discussions. One of the areas where we can be better prepared has to do with having better pharmaceutical products and other products available. I mean, India is a very important player in this area globally. So that is just one area where the G20 partnership is important to us.
And also, how do you see India's role when it comes to bridging the gap between the global north and global south?
Currently we really need a new contract between the global north and the global south. And India is uniquely positioned to help us bridge that gap. Norway is collaborating with India, and I mentioned, for example, in access to pharmaceutical products, where India plays a very key role, and where Norway can play a role together with India in bridging that gap. So India is very important in forging those important partnerships.
Ma'am, my last question to you is, Norway is also hosting an informal foreign ministers meet in Oslo. And we recently saw that US Congressional Committee recently recommended India joining NATO+. First of all, what are your views on that, and do you think that India should join the alliance since Norway has been a member of NATO since its establishment?
Norway has been a member of NATO since its establishment, and it's been a very important partnership for us. Being geographically located where we are as Norway, we share a border with Russia. And so Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine has really changed the security policy situation for Norway and for us as a country. And it means also that, our relationships through NATO are maybe even more important than before. And that's the backdrop of us hosting this informal NATO foreign minister meeting. That will be a part of the preparations for the NATO summit coming up later this year. But this is the situation for Norway. So I believe other countries, in response to your question, it's important that other countries make their own decisions about which alliances to join.